Hey friends, welcome. Before I jump into my testimony today, I want to share something with you. So on March 4th of 1992, I was the longest clinically documented death case in America. I was a construction truck had crossed the center line and hit my car head on. Took 3 auto mechanics and a few separate sets of jaws of life to get me out of the heap of metal and into a life flight. When they took me to the hospital, I was, believe it or not, pretty much okay. One thing that we didn't know was that I had tore my right carotid artery, and a golf ball sized blood clot was forming there. And the next morning, pieces started breaking off of that blood clot, and slowly but surely it just started to shut off different parts of my brain as blood flow was stopped, and I suffered massive brain damage. As a result, I died in an ICU, hooked up to an EEG and an EKG. So when the heart stopped and the brain activity stopped, the timer kept ticking. And I went on a little bit of a journey. I went to go somewhere. And I was talking to my daughter the other night, and we were having a conversation about this newfound faith that I have in Jesus. And I said to her, when I died for an hour, and I didn't see God, and I didn't see Jesus. I saw my dad. And so my dad was killed when I was 9 years old in a construction accident. Interesting, I'm adopted, so it was actually my adoptive father that I saw. The experience was interesting, but I told my daughter, we don't have religion in our house. We haven't brought our kids up in a religious atmosphere, because I was brought up in a very strict religious environment, and it kind of turned me off from religion, the way it was presented to me when I was a child. So going to heaven or wherever it is that I went when I died, I didn't see Jesus or God, which for me kind of reaffirmed my belief that there wasn't a God and that this was just a story. But in talking to my daughter, she said something the other night that just shut me up completely and moved me into a different position and made me start to look at things from a different perspective. She said, "Dad, you were a 16-year-old guy, and maybe God or Jesus did present themselves to you, but just in a form that wouldn't scare you or startle you. Maybe it was in the form of somebody that you knew and loved. So it could have been that God was presenting you with something familiar so you wouldn't be scared from the experience." And that's so beautiful. And the way she put that, it's amazing. It's all part of these conversations that I'm having with people that are so random recently. But they're explaining all the questions I ever had, all the trip ups, all the concerns, all the things I used to call out as questionable are all being answered by people around me lately, and it's just blowing me away. And I'm going to tell you, this is a journey that I never expected, but it's one that's completely changed me. I recently found something, or rather someone, that has transformed my life in a way that I can hardly put into words. I found Jesus Christ, and He's giving me a new purpose, a peace that is holding me steady, and a love that I never thought would be possible for me. But, I think that not too long ago I was searching, and I didn't know what I was searching for exactly, but, I felt a deep restlessness inside, like something was missing. And, I used to fill that with travel and start another business. We need more of this. We need more money. We need more of this. And in all actuality, my life was perfectly fine on the surface, but there was still that emptiness that I couldn't fill, no matter what we tried. And I was looking for something real, something that could give me strength and joy and a sense of direction. And then I found Jesus, or maybe you could say Jesus found me. I started this YouTube channel, and it's grown so fast. It's been 16 months, and we have 330 plus thousand people who join me every day. And prior to this new direction that I've taken, everything I did was self-empowerment and, self-belief, self-structure, self-instruction, do it yourself. Why are there no billionaires in church? Because billionaires are people who can step back, see a situation, and instead of saying a bunch of words, they take action. Not realizing that, you can have both. You can take action and still have a belief in God. It's just that your business partner is, a God. So things are going to turn out much better if you include him and make him a part of the approach. So I want to share with you the beauty, the hope, and the heart of what I've experienced since I began this journey over the last year. And just kind of explain things to you so you have a better understanding of why I'm doing what I'm doing on this channel. I've added Jesus as a partner. And I still do the original talks that I've done. I think that building ourselves up as an individual is a very important thing to do. And we can still build ourselves up independently and have faith as well. And the two handshake. The two help each other. They benefit each other. So, science and religion realistically have the ability to support each other in amazing ways when you're not looking at it from one perspective or the other, but when you're looking at things holistically. And before I met Jesus, I often felt like I was drifting. I tried to find purpose in my life, in my career, in people's approval, and even in business achievements. But no matter what I did, I never felt like it was enough. Never enough money. Never enough businesses. Never enough this or that. And then in Christ, I found a purpose that reaches beyond just living for myself. He calls me to love, to serve, and to be a light in this world now. And that's given me a whole new reason to wake up every day. Because now I feel like I'm part of something so much bigger than myself. Jesus gives me the privilege of sharing his love with others. And he let me build this big old YouTube channel because I think he wanted to use it as an instrument. And he's like, Doug, you can do what you want to do, but I want to be included. And he wanted to use my life to make a difference. And I can't even begin to describe how fulfilling that is, because it's a purpose that doesn't fade. It's one that is grounding me when life gets hard sometimes. I can always turn back to this and come out here and talk with people about a message of hope and positivity. And I'm really enjoying it. It's amazing. And I'll be honest, I used to struggle a lot with anxiety. I don't know if it was the brain damage or what it was, but I felt like no matter what I did, there was an underlying sense of worry that I was always experiencing. And this fear of things going wrong can just drive you nuts. But in Jesus, I've found a peace that's beyond understanding. It's not that my worries have disappeared, that's for sure, but now I have this assurance that God is with me in every moment and in every struggle, so I'm not alone. I've always had family and friends to support me, and I'm thankful for them. And maybe as they support me, that was God showing his support through them and helping me to get to this place where I need to be right now. I remember reading the verse, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And I felt those words. Jesus actually gives me rest, and he's shown me that I don't have to carry everything on my own, and that I can lay my burdens at his feet and trust that he's got me. This is a peace that has been completely life-changing for me. It's a calm that now steadies me even when everything around me feels uncertain. And I never expected how much Jesus would actually change me. There are things in my past that I'm not proud of, mistakes, regrets, and brokenness that I thought I'd carry forever. When I read through the Gospels, I used to be Saul, and somehow I became Paul, and it's amazing. I really resonate with Paul. I like him a lot. I think that his story is a tremendous example, and I think a lot of us probably, at one point or another resonated with Saul, and thankfully through the grace of God, we've now been able to be more like Paul. And I think that happens because Jesus works on your heart, and he reshapes you, and he helps you to let go of anger and bitterness, and fills you with compassion that you never thought you could feel, empathy, and makes you feel good about helping other people, because you know that when you're helping others, all that you do for them, you're doing for him. So it makes it better, but the journey has been more than just about being better. It's like Jesus has made me personally into a whole new person, a person who can love more deeply, forgive more freely, and live with more joy. And his love is changing me every day. And I'm feeling a new freedom every day that I never thought possible. I mean, think about it. I'm a handicapped guy, a bald-headed handicapped guy with a lazy eye, out here entertaining people with self-help knowledge and message related to the way. And people are listening and resonating with that. Now, if you were to look at me or meet me limping down the street, you would never think of me as somebody who would give you advice on how you could live a better life, be a better father, be a good husband, how to treat others with respect, and how to treat yourself with respect and love. I'm probably the least likely guy. Look at me now. I'm not the handsomest guy. I'm probably not the smartest. And I can't run a mile or go outside and play catch with my kids. But I can still be a good person and still exemplify God's love and example in my life through the ways that I can. And luckily I have this YouTube channel where I can talk and share with people, and it's making me feel lighter and more alive, and I feel like I'm finally becoming the person that I was always meant to be. It's really, it is. I know that I work with an organization and consult for them, and I'll never forget somebody in their management team once said, "It seems like Doug is taking on a new career." And I didn't really understand that comment at that time, but and I'm not taking on a new career. This is actually something I do in my free time, in the mornings and in the evenings, but it's given me a freedom. And I used to think freedom was about being able to do whatever I wanted, because I pretty much can. I can have anything I want in this world. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. And everybody thinks that's so freeing. They think, oh yeah, you could go to the beach today and be in the mountains tomorrow, and oh, it must be really tough. But the one thing that they didn't understand was that in reality, I felt trapped by things I couldn't let go of, like things like guilt and regret and unhealthy habits. These are things that trap you, and they're things that are hard to escape. But Jesus, through his forgiveness, has shown me that true freedom is something so different. It's not about doing everything. It's about letting go of the things that hold you down. And one of the biggest things, like I just mentioned, that I've experienced with Jesus is forgiveness. And that's both in receiving it and giving it. I felt his forgiveness cover my own mistakes, and that's freed me in a way that I really would have a hard time explaining. I don't think that anybody wants to walk down the path of their past mistakes, but in order to get to where I am, sometimes I've had to be somebody that maybe I'm not proud of being, And I've also, I've never physically hurt anybody or done any broken laws or anything like that, but, just determination sometimes can get in the way of considering others and considering how our actions might impact them. Because, hey, we're just trying to keep score, make more money, start another business. If you're in my way, well, I'm a bulldozer and I'm going to win. So I recommend you don't, that type of an approach. It's not a loving approach. And in the end, when you're sitting on your big pile of money, you look back at your life and you think, wow, was it worth it? And it's not. It's not worth it. But being able to let go of those things and continue to move forward and be a good person now and be a person that I've always wanted to be is tremendous. I just love it. I've found strength to forgive others and let go of bitterness and anger because, one thing I found out when I got out of college and went out into the business world, being a guy who grew up in small town with lots of trust, the nice guy gets stepped on, and he does. And in the absence of having Christ in your corner, you're all alone. And it's tough, and it can make you bitter, and it can make you angry. And, people that have hurt me and stepped on me over the years, they kind of set the example for me to step on others. But I've never really been that person. I've always kind of been a kind-hearted and loving individual deep down. But being that person has allowed me to absorb a lot of hurt and a lot of frustration and a lot of pain from other people. But now I have a freedom, and it's like a heavy weight that's been lifted off of me. And this freedom isn't about escaping responsibilities, It's about finding joy and grace in the journey now, knowing that I'm loved and forgiven. And as I move forward, I have a clean slate. I love that. That's really great. It's nice to get a clean slate and start fresh. And especially, you always ask, I think of it as like this. What if I could start my life over and know everything I know now? Well, we always consider that thought. Well, if we were young again and had a chance to relive our life, what if we knew then what we know now? Well, we know now what we know, and we can have a clean slate and a fresh start right now and move forward in new ways and use the knowledge and the experiences we have to do different things, to do better things. Because you know what? There's something incredibly beautiful about hope. It's, before I was scared of things ending, of losing people, of facing pain, of running out of time. But now I know that no matter what happens in this life, it's not the end. Jesus has promised me an eternal future with him, and that hope changes everything. And this hope doesn't just give me comfort for the future. It gives me strength for today. It's the reason I can face challenges with resilience, knowing that God has a plan for me that's bigger than any single moment. And it's a hope that one day there will be no more pain, no more suffering, and that fills me with a joy and a courage that I just didn't know before. So one of the most beautiful things that I've experienced since following Jesus is a different kind of love. It's a love that's unconditional, forgiving, and full of grace. And I used to think love was just a feeling, something that came and went. But Jesus shows me that love is a commitment. It's a choice and a way of life. I've felt his love in such a real way that it's made me want to love others the same way. And I'm learning to love people even when it's hard, and to forgive when I've been hurt, and to see people through eyes of compassion. And this is a love that doesn't come from me. It comes from Jesus, and it's his love that's changed everything. So I guess I never thought I'd be doing this video and be saying these things. But I can honestly tell you that following Jesus has changed my life in every way. And I've found a purpose that fills my soul, a peace that calms my spirit, and a transformation that frees me from my past. It's a hope that carries me through now, and a love that has completely healed my heart. So, I guess the message here is, if you're feeling lost, or if you're wondering if there's something more, or if you're carrying burdens that feel too heavy, I want you to know that Jesus is here, and He's inviting you to come to Him. You don't have to be perfect. Lord knows I'm not. And you don't have to have it all figured out. I used to think I always had it figured out. But He's ready to meet you exactly where you are and walk with you step by step. I'm not saying the journey will be easy, because it hasn't been easy for me to face some things over the last year. But I can tell you that it will be worth it. Jesus brings beauty to even the hardest places in our lives. He brings light to our darkness and joy to our struggles. And He offers you peace, purpose, and a love that never fails. So, if you're feeling that pull, take the step. I think for years I felt the pull, and I negated it through conversation, talk, and negativity, and I don't know why I was doing that. But once I opened my heart and let Him show me the life that He had awaiting me, it's a life filled with meaning, joy, and hope that goes beyond anything this world can offer. And, everything that I'm speaking about here is a silent struggle that I've held inside for years and years. I'm a loving father. I'm a good dad. I really am an excellent father. And I'm a good husband. I am a good husband. And, I think as a part of being a man in our society, I've always felt that these are struggles that I had to hold inside and keep within myself. Because when you show emotion or anything like that in our society, then other men will think, hey, you're weak, or Doug cried, what's wrong with him, and things like that. But as mental health and mental health practices for men are becoming more prevalent and accepted in our society, it's time for us to step up and step out and share with the world who we are as men, who we truly are, and be okay with the fact that we have struggles that we're dealing with internally, and do what we can personally to resolve those. Because inevitably what it does, it makes us a better person. I've found my solution in Jesus Christ. And I think there's a lot of other people out there that can find the same peace that I have. And this is an amazing path and journey, and it's incredible. I cannot tell you how many people have just come out of the woodwork, people that I don't know, never met before, and they're having conversations with me that are answering every single question. And I have no argument. I'm going with this. I'm not going to stop. But I want to thank you today for letting me share my heart with you. And I pray that you'll experience the same peace, love, and transformation that Jesus has given me. May God bless you on this journey, wherever it takes you. Amen.